It's been one of those days. So my name's Pat Wyer. I'm the manager of placement and outreach for Silberman College of Business on the Florham campus. So I welcome my Metro campus folks. Paige is my partner, so we work together, and same message. Doesn't matter which workshop you attended. Are you guys hearing feedback from my office? Can someone answer me? Is it too loud here?
I'm hearing some feedback.
You can hear me a little bit.
Okay. I'm sorry. We're in a group office, and my coworker's on a meeting right next to me. So I'm going to do my best. So please signal me or something if you can't hear. I'm going to ask everyone to please turn their cameras on if that's possible. It's always much more pleasant to see faces than just names. I understand you might not be able to, but if you can, that'd be great. And again, like I said, welcome. I'm glad you're taking the time to do this. This is a fair in 3 years in person. We've done them virtually, so we're really, really excited. We got a great employer turnout. Usually we have about 20. We have 40 employers coming, so I didn't want to say no to people, so it's going to be very tight. Like I said, please, we're going to make this, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand or unmute yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. When you come to a recruiting fair, right, the whole point is you want to stand out because a lot of your peers are going to be there, and how do you get the most out of the fair? So I'm going to start. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to start. So the first thing is great you guys showed up, and also great you're showing up tomorrow. Showing up is always key. This slide talks about having a plan. So like we said, there's going to be 40 firms there. The fair's between 1 and 3. You don't have to be there the entire time if you have a class. However, when you come, you want to have a strategy. You don't want to just come in and wander around and like at a craft fair, like go to each table and figure it out. All the companies are listed in Handshake. So I want you to come in with a plan. I want you to go to Handshake and look at the companies. And each company says a little bit about themselves, what they're recruiting for, if they're looking for interns, if they're hiring full-time positions, what majors they're considering, what class years. So look at all that stuff and try and determine if you're a good fit for that company or not. So that way, and you can prioritize, like what's your first choice, what's your second choice, because hopefully there's going to be a lot of students there. So it's not like you're going to be able to walk right up to the company right away and give them your elevator pitch, right? You might have to wait a little bit while some of your peers talk, which a little off topic, but let's all be polite. We don't want any firm hoggers out there. So just like you want to get in front of these folks, so do your peers and your classmates. So, obviously get there, get your face time, but we don't want someone like hanging there for 5-10 minutes. That's a little bit much, right? Because and be aware, if there's no one else waiting, then that's fine. But if you have classmates waiting behind you, and I'm not saying rush through your pitch, definitely do your pitch, but let's just be aware and, let's just be polite to each other. But having said that, coming in with a strategy will help. So know what the firms are, what they're looking for, what firms appeal to you, which ones don't appeal to you. My little thing at the bottom was like, when I used to take my kids to Disney, if I didn't have an itinerary and stick to the itinerary and know which rides we were going to fast pass, Disney's horrible if you go without a plan. It's kind of the same thing with a fair. Like you want to go in with a strategy, that way you can ensure that you're going to see the companies that are a best fit for you and that you might have the most success with. I think I covered this, like some are going to be there looking to recruit for internships. Some are looking for full-time. Some are recruiting for both. So what are you looking for? What is your timing and what are they looking for? As far as qualifications, when a firm lists the qualifications, that's their ideal candidate. So that's, if they had their wishes granted, that their perfect candidate would have all those things. That's not to say you shouldn't go visit with a firm if you don't meet it 100%. Because number one, they might not get anyone who has all those qualifications. And number two, it's also about networking and getting to know the recruiters, especially for our underclassmen that are attending. If you're an underclassman attending this, so maybe you don't get the internship right now, but maybe you get it next semester or the summer or for the fall.
Already a good fit for them. They already knew the person's personality, what you're good at. So they're like, oh, this job would be
try and
really a good fit for you personally.
Can we please mute ourselves? Thanks. So at any rate, like I was saying, let's go back. Where did I go? I'm going the wrong way. I'm gonna stop. Sorry, guys. That little muting thing threw me off. So if you don't meet 100% of it took me right back to the thing. Sorry. I'm gonna say start from the beginning, and it doesn't start from the beginning. Whatever. Okay, here we go. So go in with a plan. If you don't meet 100% of the qualifications, that's okay. If you're, 85% there, if it's something that they put in there that they say must have, then obviously it's a deal breaker. So you don't want to waste your time. But again, they might be recruiting for that right now, but there might be an opportunity down the road and they'll remember you. We have students that used to go when they were freshmen that wound up having internships with these firms when they were juniors because they went freshman year, they went sophomore years, and then when they went junior year, they were like, oh, I remember you. This is great, and that helps. So now having said that, maybe we should I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I just want to raise a hand. How many students are accounting majors here? Raise your hand. I got to flip. All right, well, some of you can't raise your hand, or you could do it with reactions. How about finance? Flipping around. Okay. What about business admin? Okay, so we have some business administration students, right? Business admin. Any management majors? Okay, great. So the biggest question I get is, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen now. Well, I'm a marketing major. Should I go to this fair? Like, is it, if it's for finance and accounting? The firms that are coming are recruiting for positions primarily in the field of accounting and finance. You don't necessarily have to be an accounting and finance major. However, this first bullet, if you don't want to be a CPA, then this is part of doing your research. Don't go see the public accounting firms that are recruiting accounting students. So some public accounting firms will hire finance students if they're willing to sit for the CPA and they're going to take that path. If you're not doing that, then don't go visit with them. Same thing, if you're a management major, don't go to an accounting firm unless you want to pursue accounting. However, Barclays, it's a huge international bank, investment house. So they're based in London. They hire more than just finance majors. We have placed business administration majors with Barclays. We have placed marketing majors with finance. And that's fine. But if you're a marketing major and you want to go work for an advertising agency, then it's probably not a good fit. But if you're a marketing major and you're open to working in other fields, then by all means, look at Barclays. Goldman Sachs, they're not super particular about your exact major. So again, this is part of doing your homework. But all I have to say is you have to be open to that. Like if you have absolutely no interest in working for any of these firms, it might be viewed as a waste of their time. Although having said that, it's also good to learn networking skills. But again, you don't want to waste the employer's time, and you don't want to waste time that another student could have visiting with that firm. So kind of know what you're open to and know what they're looking for, and then figure that out. Also, relocation, BASF, they come recruiting for particular professional development, rotational programs. The first question they ask is, are you willing to relocate? If that's a deal breaker for you, be honest. There's no point in saying, yes, you're open to it if you know you're not. And that's fine if you're not. That's just that program with that firm is not for you. But just know what your deal breakers are. So we had a student that went through the whole process, was offered the position, and then turned it down because they didn't want to relocate. And I was like, well, you knew that going in, and you kind of ruined it for another student who may have gotten that offer. Make sense? Any questions?
I have a question.
What?
So similarly to what you were first saying, what if you researched a company such as JP Morgan and you saw in Handshake that they're not offering the job title or internship title you want? Could you go in and ask them if they're offering anything else?
Sure. Now, who is this? I'm like going between screens. Who's talking to me right now?
Hi, Kevin Ryan.
Oh, hi, Kevin. How are you? I'm sorry. You're on screen. My second list the screen. Yes, you can. Absolutely. So like, give me an example. What's the JP Morgan? I think I have two. What was the JP Morgan? It's Brittany, I believe, is the recruiter. What was the position they were listed, or you don't know yet?
I'm not sure. I just knew it was not the position that I was interested in.
Okay. You absolutely. You can go in, just make sure you know what you are interested in. Like, don't go up and say, hi, I'm Kevin, blah, blah, blah. I'm a finance man, I'm, whatever. And I'm looking for, and say, I noticed in Handshake, you have this position listed. I'm not really interested in that. What else do you got? Like, you don't want to do that. You want to know, like, I'm more interested in this area. Do you have any suggestions on how I can pursue that? She might say, you know what, this is a great entry-level role to get to that. In fact, we don't hire entry people into that. We take them all from here. Or she might say, yeah, don't apply for this, but give me your resume and I can forward on to a colleague. So yeah, that's perfectly acceptable. Anyone else have a question?
About the resume, should we print it out, like a physical copy?
Who's asking me?
Richie.
Where am I? Oh, hi, Rich. How are you?
Good.
Long time. Yes, you should print it out. Has I or Paige reviewed it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yes, you should have a printed resume with you. I would prefer if I have already seen it. Having said that,
Okay.
the chances of me being able to review everyone's resume between now and then, because I'm also running the event, is like, there's only one of me. I can do, I already have like a bunch that I'm backed up on. But yes, you should have a printed resume for you. But more importantly, you should have it uploaded to Handshake and made visible.
Yeah.
It's not as important to have a printed resume as it used to be, because now in Handshake, you have a profile you can fill out, and you can upload your resume to Handshake and make it visible to employers. So for instance, if I was a recruiter coming tomorrow, or coming on Wednesday, tomorrow I would be going into Handshake and Missy, can you be my person to tell me who's raising their hands? Because I can't see, I have too many screens going. Or someone do that for me. But like, for instance, if I was the recruiter, I'd be going into Handshake tonight or tomorrow and seeing who registered, and then looking at their profile and seeing if they have a resume and checking them out. Because just like you guys got to be strategic, the recruiter has to be strategic, because they have a perspective and a goal here as well, right? Does that answer your question, Richie?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Now, having said that, If you don't have a resume and it's not perfect, I don't want that to make you not go to the fair. It's better to have a resume finished and uploaded and one on hand. However, if you don't have it, I don't want you to say, well, I didn't go to the fair because I didn't have my resume. It's okay to go and network, and it's more important for you to have your elevator pitch. So if you have to pick between the two tonight, and I have a link for a video for Intern Queen who does a great explanation of an elevator pitch, have that down, because you can always get the recruiter's card and say, I would like to email you my resume. Make sense? Who's the other question?
And Quinn has a question.
Hi, Quinn.
Yeah, so going back to the resume, if we decide to print it out, should we like print out more than one copy for all the companies that we want to talk to?
Yes, that would be great. And I have to say this low, but if you don't have a place to print it or something to come see me, I'll do my best to try and help you guys print them, or Paige. She's gonna kill me for saying that, but is there another question somewhere? Okay, so let's go back to sharing. Where was I? All right, we're done with this one. Oh, here we go. Elevator pitch. 60 seconds. I would even say 30. I guess 60 seconds. Some people say 30. I think it's important to have the elevator pitch. This is the link to the video I was telling you about. She goes through the steps of exactly what to say and how to say it. So basically, because you're going to go up to the table, right? And pretend I'm a recruiter. You're going to come up and see me and you're going to say, hi, I'm Quinn. And I'm going to say, hi, I'm Pat. Nice to meet you. And I'm either going to say, tell me a little bit about yourself, or there's going to be a pause and I'm going to assume you're going to say something. So you got to plan out what you're going to say. You'll probably be a little nervous. Hopefully not. Hopefully this will be, can someone please mute themselves? So you got to have that planned out of it. So and it's like anything else, the more prepared you are, the less nervous you are. At least I am. Like if I'm going in and winging it, like it shows, and then I get nervous and it's not great. So if you have your elevator pitch down, perfect. And by the way, all this stuff is stuff that Paige and I can help you with. We can't help you with it like between now and the fair, but we're here all year round to help you with this stuff. So don't worry. This is not your last shot at this. Very important, don't forget to ask. So you did your elevator pitch, you had your rap, you had this great rapport, and you're like, okay, see ya, nice. No, what's the ask? Anyone know what I mean by don't forget to ask? Does anyone have their hand up? I can't see.
Connecting on LinkedIn.
That's an ask. But if it's a position that you were talking about, the ask is, how can I be considered for this position? I think I'm a great fit. I think my skills and qualifications align. How do I apply for this position? How can I be considered? But sure, asking to connect with them on LinkedIn is definitely an ask. That's a good point. So if you collect business cards, or if you just have to remember names after the fair, you go back to your dorm or your home or wherever, and you connect with all the recruiters you met with, and you put a little note how nice it was to meet with them and hear about the opportunities. And if you could even put something specific in there that they'll remember you by, like say you talked about the Giants. Hopefully you're not talking about the Giants. Hopefully it's more about the career. But if there's something specific like that, say, I love hearing about the opportunities. I'm very excited. I'm putting my applications in. Go Big Blue, right? Because you talked about the Giants and you bring it back to that. Like if there's something that you talked about with them that will remind them who you are out of the 100 students that they saw, that helps. And just practice your elevator pitch, because you don't want it to come across like you're memorizing. Hi, I'm Pat Wyer, and I'm a finance major junior at Fairleigh Dickinson, and I have a 3.8 GPA, and I'm on the baseball team, and I'm looking for an internship for summer 23, right? That sounds very robotic. So you want it to be relaxed. Try and get family members to practice with you, or friends or teammates. I'm doing a little pitch here for that link for the intern queen. She's one of our PDP events. It's going to be via Zoom. She's awesome. She doesn't just do elevator pitch. She has all kinds of career advice. I follow her on Instagram. She mimics a lot of the stuff we say, so it's just another resource. So put on your calendar September 22nd, 5 p.m. Ask her questions. She's just another research source. So practice, you see, practice, practice, practice. This seems so normal. Like it seems crazy I'm even saying this, but we've all been doing this Zoom thing for a very long time, right? Some of you even in high school did Zoom, and now through college we did it at meetings, and now we're trying to get back and we're out of practice. You're in person. So posture counts, eye contact counts, a firm handshake counts. Now let me backtrack a little bit on the handshake thing. And extending your hand for a handshake is fine. Now we're post-COVID. Some people are a little antsy, so you got to read the audience, okay? So if you put your hand out and the recruiter backs off, just say, "Oh, no worries." Or if you feel the same way, if you don't want to shake hands, that's fine too, because of, we all have our things, and we don't know what other people's business is, nor should we. So if you don't want to shake hands, you don't have to. We're going to project. We got to work on this. It seems like this stuff used to come naturally to us, but literally for the past 2-3 years, we were practicing eye contact by looking at the camera, not at the person. Right now, we need to look at the person and engage. Smile, right? Smile goes a million ways. You don't have to be super serious. Interrupt with questions. Okay. Again, how do I dress for the fair? This is, everything's changing around us, right? The business world's changing quite a bit, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. Before the pandemic, I would say men had to wear suits and women had to wear blouses and skirts and dress shoes. I actually asked some employer partners how they felt about this. So the overwhelming response I heard is business casual is fine. However, they also said, be careful when you say business casual to students and what they hear. Business casual is not what you would wear to class. Business casual is what you would wear to church or temple, collared shirts, shoes, no jeans, no sneakers. Of course, a suit is always fine. It's better to err on the side of being conservative than to err on the side of being less conservative and feeling underdressed. Feeling overdressed is better, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Some of the recruiters will be in suits and many will be business casual. So that also might be, a gauge into, or a little peek into the culture of the firm. If, I don't know that it should be, but if like wearing a suit and tie to work is a deal breaker for you and you're like, there's no way I can do that for the rest of my life, then, think about that. I know this sounds dumb. Women, can you walk in your heels? But it's true. Phones, not just men, women, everyone. We're not walking around with our phones in our hands. And especially when you're walking into something like this, you feel a little intimidated and uncomfortable to begin with. And our phone gives us a little bit of courage, because if we don't know anyone, we could always go on our phone, because, all our friends are on our phone. Put the phones away for this. Turn off the ringers. Maximize the time. And not just put them away. Like, where are you going to hold? That's why it says men. Where are you going to hold them? Because what are you going to put them in? Think about that. But women too. So business casual neat. That says sweet. It's supposed to be suit. I didn't choose this first time I was doing this presentation, actually. Any questions on what you wear?
Yeah, so, do you think it would be better? I know that the roles, that the companies have and their attire will be different, but, do you think it'd just be better if, like, if everyone, like, wore the suit just to be extra safe?
If that makes you more comfortable, Quinn, then yes. I don't think you have to wear a suit, is what I'm saying. I think you can be business casual and wear like a nice pair of khakis and a collared shirt with nice shoes, as long as you look neat. I think a lot of the recruiters will be wearing stuff like that. But if it's going to throw you off your game, if you walk in like that and there is a recruiter with a suit on, and you'd be more, I think whatever is going to make you the most comfortable. But if you're going to err, don't go too casual. No jeans, no sneakers, no extra skin showing. It can be like I just covered a UNIV class, and I said there was a young woman there who looked very, very nice. And I said, can you stand up? And I said, this is perfectly appropriate for her to wear this to class. She looks lovely, but that's not something she should wear to the recruiting fair, because she had jeans on and a summer top that, was sleeveless. She looked great, but just not for the recruiting fair. Make sense? Again, what we're saying is it's dress for the role you want, not the one you have. So we get you're a student, and so you guys hang out in jeans and shorts and t-shirts and sweats and sweatshirts and leggings, but we're trying to expand beyond being a student. We kind of talked about this a little bit, like about the resume. If no one has reviewed your resume, I would think twice about bringing it, but if you're confident that it looks great, and then that's up to you. But I would always urge you to have someone review your resume first, preferably Paige or I, if not someone that you feel comfortable with. Proofread it. There's lots of it's easy for us to make, just like there was a typo on that slide, right? It was supposed to say suit, it said suite. Typos happen all the time, and especially when it's something you're working on. So another set of eyes is always good. Use spell check. Tenses are big on resume. So if it's on your work experience, on your bullets, if it's a past experience, if you are no longer working there, all your action verbs that you start with should be past tense: collaborated, created, initiated, managed. If you're still there, and they should all be consistent. If you're still at the place, they should all be present tense: collaborate, create. This is print copies of your resume. Again, if you come see me if you need help with that. But again, I don't want you, if you do not have a resume to bring with you, I don't want that to make you not go. If that's the case, let's get on that as soon as possible. Okay, so we said have your elevator pitch prepared, but you should also be prepared to they might ask you some questions. It's not an interview, but it's kind of a screening. They use this to screen who they might want to interview or who they might want to pursue for opportunities. So again, if there's some companies or firms, do a little research about them. Know what do they do? Who are their customers? How do they make their money? Are they big? Are they small? That shows interest. So if you go into knowing that stuff, then and you can convey that to the recruiter, then you're showing interest, like you've already done some work. So if I'm the recruiter, I'm like, oh, this Richie, he took the time to look into our company. He knows a little bit about our firm. He must really be interested. And he does his homework. So you're already conveying stuff about yourself without too much effort. So the one thing, why are you interested in my company, or what is it about company XYZ that attracted you, or why do you want to apply? Be able to answer that. Don't be like, well, I'm an accounting major and I just thought I should come to this thing and check it out. And I'm looking for some sort of internship in accounting. That will not make you stand out. That will make you be average. Any questions? I mean, I don't see you getting like detailed behavioral questions like you would in an interview, like tell me about a time you were presented with conflict in a team environment and how you resolved it. I don't think you'll get that, but they are going to want to get to know you a little bit, like what your experience is, what your activities are. And by the way, be authentic. If it's not something for you, without being rude, of course, just say, you know what, that sounds like a great opportunity, but my interests are blah, blah, blah. When all else fails, being authentic goes a long way. What is something I should know about you that isn't on your resume? This is just, a lot of times firms use this as an icebreaker. I told my daughter's a junior in college, and I told her she's always humming and she loves music. And I said, you know what, you should, if you're ever asked that question, you should talk about your interest in music. She's like, why would I do that? And I was like, because they're just trying to see another side of you, right? It's kind of an icebreaker, trying to put you at ease. Seeing the whole person, we hear that a lot, right? Just like on an interview, and again, this is time permitting because we don't want to hog all the time. We don't know what the lines are going to be like. We don't know how much time you're going to have, but have some questions prepared to ask them to avoid any awkward silences. You might go through your elevator pitch. They might ask you something and, it's only been a minute. You want to be able to continue the conversation. So prepare a bunch of questions, but don't ask them all. That don't go over the line. And then the ask again. What do I need to do to apply for an internship or job or whatever you are talking to them about? I mean, you'll prepare questions, and you should, so you have them in your back pocket, but some of these questions will come organically through your conversation. So if they're telling you about an opportunity and another thing with asking questions, which is new, is a lot of students come into me and the first question they ask when I'm presenting them with an opportunity or a possibility, they'll say, well, is it remote? That's a fair question. However, I wouldn't lead with it. Like right now, you're trying to project interest, right? You're trying to show them that you're very interested in their firm and the opportunities at their firm. So if the first question you ask me, and by the way, recruiters tend to skew, they're not, although there will be, they do bring alum that are right out of school, but they're going to be a little bit older. So if the first question you ask them is this remote? Depending on that person's mindset, they might be like, well, how interested are they? If that, so I'm not saying it's not a fair question, but I wouldn't lead with it. It might come up organically in the conversation. Plus, they might have jobs posted in Handshake. That's another thing. When you're doing your research on these firms, look to see if they have any job postings, and you could read the job descriptions, and it should say in there whether they're remote or not. I mean, this is not an interview. No one's offering you a job. This is just a recruiting fair. It's like a networking opportunity to get you in front of these firms that are looking for talent. So this is the first step. So it's not the time to start like turning down opportunities you haven't been offered by saying, oh, I only want remote. Any questions?
I have another question. Yes.
Sure.
Just so maybe we can better prioritize. on average, if you would say, how many companies do you think will be able to meet?
Really don't know. Because like I said, I haven't done this in 3 years. And when I did it 3 years ago, that was the first time I did it. But how long are you going to be there? Are you going to be there the whole 3 hours? You might be able to, if you're going to be there the whole 3 hours, depending, and I don't know how many students are going to come. So I don't know the wait time for each one. Like assuming you wanted to visit 5 minutes with each company and it was just you would have more than enough time to visit with a lot, right? By doing the math, but I don't know all those other variables.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't have a better answer on that.
No, I kind of already figured that out, but just threw it out.
Yep. Smile is huge. Being authentic is huge. If you're trying to pretend to be something you're not, these recruiters are they know their specialty is searching for talent. And by the way, it's not, I always say this isn't an interview, but I always say when I'm prepping students for interviews are not interrogations, they're conversations. This is a conversation. They're not out there to make you look bad or try and eliminate you. They're just looking for talent that fits with their culture, their company's culture, and what their company needs. So if they're looking for a marketing person and you're a CPA, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or you're not smart. It just means that's not what they're looking for. And by the way, you don't want to take a job that you don't have the qualifications for, because that's just recipe for disaster and a meltdown. So be yourself, smile. And I understand sometimes this comes easier to some versus others, but we have introverts, we have extroverts, and we have a bunch in the middle, and introverts can be some of the best networkers going. We just had a student, she describes herself as shy. I didn't, but as an introvert, and she went to she was part of a competition team, and that was sponsored, and she went with a team of FDU students. And when she was there, there were a lot of big firms there, Amazon being one of them. She made a point of forcing herself to meet with these folks. And when she got back, she followed up with them. And she followed up with one of the key folks at Amazon who said, I'm going to try and get your resume. And well, she has since now relocated to Seattle and is a financial analyst with Amazon, making top dollar. So I know for people that describe themselves as shy, it might be harder than for others, but it's you can do it. And by the way, sometimes people who say they're extroverts, extroverts got to watch themselves as well. I consider myself an extrovert at times, and my Achilles heel is over talking, right? So us extroverts, sometimes we talk too much. So it goes both ways. And have fun. It's not the end. This is not the end of the world. This is, it's an opportunity. Have fun. I think we have all different class years here. I think we have freshmen up through grad students, and some established professionals. So obviously it's hard to get one succinct message to all those different demographics. But so if you're an underclassman and this is your first outing, it's okay. They don't expect you to be these polished professionals. That will come, and the more you attend these events and our other professional development program events, the more comfortable you will get. And I have seen it. So I've seen students who come in as very meek freshmen who aren't comfortable, and then by the time they're grad students, they're like running programs for us. So it's a process. Any questions? I know you're all going to rock it. Missy, can you share the suitable code for, wow, we got a lot here. 38, this is awesome. So that's the suitable, the QR code to get the professional development points for attending this in Suitable. So please scan that. And then we will also have a bunch of multiple QR codes around the room the day of. Another, if it's females, well, men too, I guess, anyone. If it's nice out, we will have some of the employers' tables outside in the Italian garden. So I would refrain from wearing any sort of heel that's not, wedges are better, square heels are better, like a pointy heel, you're going to sink in the lawn. We also have a career closet on both campuses. Obviously, I know more about the one on the Florham campus, but if you're on the Metro campus and you would like some business casual attire to wear to the fair, reach out to Paige Sultano. On my campus, come see me. The career closet's open right now until 5. We have established hours. I don't know what they are, but there's some stuff. I was just up there, and there's some Bandolino shoes I saw. I was like, wow, not bad. So this came about when I think when my daughter's a junior now. So I think when she was a freshman, I was meeting with students and telling them what to wear for interviews and recruiting fairs. And I had just packed my daughter up for school, and I was like, she would have nothing that would be appropriate to wear, not one thing. So that's what we said, let's get this on campus so people don't have to drive an hour home to go get their clothes to wear to this, or even if they don't want to, and why buy, it's expensive. You guys are college students. You're not supposed to have money right now. So why go out and buy all this stuff? We have it here. So that's all I got, unless you guys have something.
What this room is, there's always a computer screen blocking someone.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I think
investments, there could be equity.
I hear the
stocks,
student managed
with-
investment fund. So someone's double dipping here. So go do
That's-
your other thing.
That's not till tomorrow.
Oh, well, I heard, didn't that sound like Professor Bolshevitz?
Yeah, it was Professor B, but I don't know where they are.
Okay. All right. All right, everyone. Nice seeing you all. I want to see all your shining, happy faces on Wednesday and see how it goes. Okay.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks,
You're going to
Pat.
do great.
Thank you.
Bye, Dom.
Good job, Pat.
I just feel like all I do is talk. Like talk. I'm sick of listening. I'm sick of listening to me. But you know what? I'm going to take a personal win that Carol's son came. He hasn't come to one thing. And he's a junior. So yeah. All right. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Okay.
Pat.
Sergio, you never would tell me if it was bad anyway. You're like my husband, which is a compliment. Bye.